That new press secretary, she's
that video, dude.
She's a gangster. They're prepared. And you know why they're prepared? Because they're trying to play gotcha.
Yep.
So she played gotcha with them. She checkmated them.
She came in there with that Elon Musk flamethrower.
Play that video.
Watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
The ladies on The View have officially set their sights on White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, attacking her for one simple reason. She refuses to bend the knee to their emotional theatrics. Their reaction was so unhinged that even Joe Rogan felt compelled to step in. On his latest podcast, Rogan tore into the panel, calling out their performative outrage and labeling them exactly what they've become: disconnected pundits yelling into an echo chamber. When daytime TV hysteria gets this bad, you know something's broken. So if you like commentary without filters and punches that land, buckle up, because this one delivers.
That new press secretary, she's
that video, dude.
She's a gangster. Have you seen that video?
You've never seen someone more prepared for a question in your life, Jamie.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Small point on that. Not the big point, but small point. She was so prepared for
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, she's supposed to be prepared.
That's why I said you've never seen someone more prepared.
For that.
They're
Joe Rogan started by giving credit where it's due. Karoline Leavitt has proven herself to be sharp, composed, and fully in control of the facts every time she steps behind the podium. Rogan pointed out what millions of viewers already see. She doesn't dodge questions. She doesn't ramble. She doesn't hide behind rehearsed talking points. Compared to the chaos of the previous administration's press briefings, where answers were read straight from binders and clarity was nowhere to be found, Leavitt represents competence. She's confident, articulate, and decisive. And for some reason that terrifies the women of The View. Strength in a conservative woman isn't something they celebrate. It's something they ridicule.
Young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
So what exactly did Karoline do to earn their wrath? She told them calmly and directly that she had no interest in entertaining their brand of ideological nonsense. That single moment sent shockwaves through the panel. They weren't prepared to be challenged, especially not by a young conservative woman who refused to play their game. Karoline didn't blink. She called out the hypocrisy, rejected the groupthink, and moved on. And here's the uncomfortable truth. He was right. Even Bill Maher, hardly a conservative ally, has openly criticized The View for drifting into hollow outrage and ideological theater. When Maher is sounding more reasonable than Whoopi Goldberg, something has gone seriously off the rails.
Tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging. You just lost a crazy contest to an actual crazy person. What a shocker that the people who see everything through the lens of race and sex see their election loss as a result of racism and sexism. Yes, if only we weren't so irredeemably unenlightened, we would have elected a black president by now. Oh, what?
When you lose Bill Maher, it's time for self-reflection. Karoline didn't just hold up a mirror. She forced them to look into it. At first she ignored the jabs. She had real work to do and no reason to spar with daytime hosts desperate for relevance. But the attacks kept coming. They mocked her experience. They questioned her qualifications. Some even implied she only got the job because of her looks. That crossed a line. Karoline responded the way professionals do. Calm, sharp, and unapologetic. Her response wasn't emotional. It was precise. And it exposed the irony of a panel that claims to support women while tearing down any woman who dares to think differently.
I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should...
Her words cut straight through the smugness that The View hides behind. The panel wasn't ready for it. Karoline's response wasn't loud. It wasn't theatrical. It was effective. And that's what rattled them. The moment a conservative woman speaks clearly and confidently, the mask slips. Whoopi Goldberg, never one to step out of the spotlight quietly, tried to counter with emotional talking points and recycled outrage. But it didn't land. The damage was done. Karoline had exposed the intellectual fragility of a show that prides itself on toughness but collapses when challenged with facts.
Not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason.
Listening to Whoopi Goldberg talk about empowerment is exhausting. Beyond her acting career, what meaningful contributions has she made toward uplifting Black women in America? Serious question. Her time on television has been filled with tone-deaf statements, historical inaccuracies, and cringeworthy moments that do more harm than good. She speaks with authority but rarely with accountability. Instead of elevating conversations, she often derails them. If she represents anything, it's the media's habit of confusing celebrity with credibility. And that's exactly why Joe Rogan stepped in.
That people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies-infested henhouse.
When Rogan addressed The View, he didn't hold back. He called it what it is. A spectacle disguised as discussion. He pointed out some of the most jaw-dropping moments to ever come out of that studio. Claims like the Holocaust not being about race. Or the bizarre suggestion that Black Americans have it worse than women, as if those identities are mutually exclusive. These aren't harmless mistakes. They're reckless statements that fuel division and misinformation. Rogan did what few others are willing to do. He called it out publicly. Joy Behar attempted to defend the panel, but even she couldn't withstand the scrutiny.
Behar went after Joe Rogan on The View, and he fired back spectacularly.
You're worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons. They're prepared because they're trying to play gotcha.
Yep.
So she played gotcha with them. She checkmated them.
She came in there with that fucking Elon Musk flamethrower.
Play that video.
Rogan especially dismantled Joy Behar for her bizarre claim that he believes in dragons. He mocked the comment but also used it to highlight a broader pattern. A habit of careless accusations and shallow commentary. Rogan wasn't just throwing punches. He was making a point. That The View thrives on theatrics, not substance. At the same time, he praised Karoline Leavitt for handling pressure with intelligence and composure. According to Rogan, she represents something rare in modern politics. Clarity, conviction, and the courage to speak plainly without hiding behind buzzwords.
Whoopi Goldberg saying it's worse to be a Black person in America today than a woman in Iran. You know, I say we were talking about the trans issue before, and the New York Times really has come over on that to the sort of the sensible, liberal, not crazy woke position. I think this is a great first step toward getting the Democrats back to sanity, and a second good step would be we got to do something about The View.
Bill Maher is right. If liberalism wants to survive, it has to cut away the ideological rot that shows like The View represent. Classical liberalism was built on free speech, open debate, and tolerance for disagreement. Today's version silences dissent and punishes independent thought. That isn't progress. It's regression. Karoline Leavitt stands out precisely because she refuses to play along. Joe Rogan's defense of her and his takedown of The View reflect a growing frustration with performative outrage and empty narratives. People are tired of it. And Karoline just showed what happens when competence meets courage. That's where we'll leave it. If you enjoyed the breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.